I know there's been a little confusion because of the rating agencies who's, I don't know why anybody pays any attention to what they say after what they did in the United States, but people do pay attention. And a couple of the sovereign rating agencies have raised questions about the United States, but let me assure you, the U.S. will always pay its debt. How do I know that? If you borrow money from the United States, you get a piece of paper, a bond, and what does that paper say? We promise to pay, say, $1,000. Well, how do I know the United States could always pay that? Because they just print those dollars. You know, you could imagine a temporary shortage of electricity and the printing press didn't work. But apart from that, it is inconceivable that we promised to pay you these little pieces of paper. You were foolish enough to accept that promise. And we will deliver those pieces of paper.
Since 1971, the U.S. dollar and the global financial system have been based solely upon faith. Faith in the guardian of that currency and of that system, the American Central Bank, the Federal Reserve. As the world's reserve currency, the U.S. dollar is how we measure our time, our products, our self-worth. Ours is a system based on trust and confidence, both of which began to disappear in the fall of 2007.
Plunging interest rates helped trigger the housing boom, but with interest rates climbing back, many homeowners are having a hard time paying their mortgages.
14 million people took a mortgage in the last 3 years. 7 million of them will lose their homes. This is crazy.
We're having an electronic run on the banks. The Federal Reserve's estimation was that $5.5 trillion would have been drawn out of the money market system of the United States, would have collapsed the entire economy, and within 24 hours, the world economy would have collapsed. It would have been the end of our economic system as we know it.
Chairman Greenspan, the markets tomorrow. Are U.S. Treasury bonds still safe to invest in?
Very much so. I think this is not an issue of credit rating. The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
Sounds like they're printing money. Nuh-uh.
One myth that's out there is that what we're doing is printing money. We're not printing money.
Is that tax money that the Fed is spending?
It's not tax money. It's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing.
You've been printing money.
Well, effectively.
Yeah, the United States is, we're a very special place. There's no question about it. And we will pay our debts in the end. So it is not like if we don't pay, we can't pay. We've got the right to print our own money. That's the key. Greece lost the power to print their money. If they could print drachmas, they would not have, they'd have other problems.
Right.
But they would not have a debt problem. And 17 countries in Europe gave up the right to print their own money. That's enormously important. And we've got the right to print our own money. So
okay.
Our credit's good.
I want.
The difference between now and 1930s, that we go into the crisis already over-indebted, and therefore you can't just increase the debt. What you need to do actually is to print money.
You can't just print money.
What?
You cannot just print money.
Well, you can, but it's against the rules, particularly in the European Union. So you have to find a way around it, and you can do it.
how do you think we got out in Roosevelt's time of that depression? How do you think pernicious Adolf Hitler, inheriting about the same, at least 1/3 unemployment, got out of it, and both of us got out of it at about the same number of years as you're getting to 1939. This is not how it happened, but this is equivalent to how it happened. Somebody invented helicopters, and somebody went to the printing press and printed off millions and billions of legal tender. And then those helicopters flew over the poorer rural regions and the slums of the city. And there wasn't a problem of whether the money was going to be saved or wasn't going to be spent. I think something like this is going to happen because we're so much like the situation we were in.